PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. I'm your host, Ian Rachiele, and this is another edition of Vegas Hockey Hub, as we're going to be breaking down this game as we have right here. Your Vegas Golden Knights taking on the St. Louis Blues, and there's definitely some good back and forth conversation that we will have about this game, because there was some ups, there were some downs, there were some in-betweens, but overall, it was a really good game between St. Louis and Vegas, and there's a lot we can talk about in tonight's game. Now, when we're really sitting here and analyzing it and really thinking about it and talking about it, I will say when it comes to this game, there's a lot we can get into. Now, I will say go to PRConnectionsRadio.com, the voice of new media. Check out all the content we have on there. We have about a dozen shows on the network. And it's not just Vegas Hockey Hub, but we have a bunch of fantastic content on the website. So if you want to go to PRConnectionsRadio.com and check out all of the panels, all the hosts, everyone who is a part of this network. And I will say when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights, definitely want to watch all the content on Vegas Hockey Hub. We'll go to PRConnectionsRadio.com and check out all of the content we have on there. So go to the website. If you also want to go to the YouTube channel, PR Connections Radio, if you want to subscribe and make sure you don't miss any show that is on the network. Now, of course, Vegas Hockey Hub is on here, but we also have about a dozen shows on the network as well. And PR Connections Radio uploads every single day. So go to the YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button down below. Or if you want to go to the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel, want to like this video and share to all of your friends and everyone you know around the world. If you, that'd be great and much appreciated. So once again, go to the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel as we post content every single day. We try to do some content, some Vegas Hockey Hub shorts. There's some clips that we're posting. We try to post videos, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And there's a lot of great content we are definitely going to be talking about, but it is going to be on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel. So once again, if you want to go to YouTube and you want to like this video and share to everyone that you know, it'd be much appreciated. And that would be on the Vegas Hockey Hub YouTube channel, where we try to upload every single day and try to give you content about your Vegas Golden Knights. And if you want to go onto our social media, it is at Vegas Hockey Hub. And we're going to be discussing a lot of content on there. We are everywhere on social media. So Vegas Hockey Hub is on Facebook. We try to post all of our links, all the content we have on there. So I want to go to the Facebook page. If you also want to go to our Instagram as well, we try to post content from every game that we are covering, regardless if it's the Golden Knights, Silver Knights, UNLV hockey. It is a situation where we have some really good content put on the Instagram at Vegas Hockey Hub, and on Twitter, we do some live tweets as well. So if you want to watch and interact with us on every single Golden Knights game, we do that on Twitter at Vegas Hockey Hub. And if you want to follow us on TikTok as well, we post skits on at Vegas Hockey Hub on TikTok. Now, getting into tonight's game, as we're going to be talking about the Golden Knights and Stars game, there's a lot of good content we can definitely be talking about here. But, we have to do our pregame notes, and we have to talk about the fact that the 2024 NHL Draft will be held here in Las Vegas. I mean, this is some very exciting news that came out, regardless if it's in the business world, if it's in the hockey world. It's going to be fantastic for the city of Las Vegas to have the NHL Draft in 2024. We'll be here. We'll be live in Las Vegas. And no doubt when the time comes in June, Vegas Hockey Hub will be covering it. I mean, it's just an incredible event. We were there during the 2017 NHL Awards, which had the expansion draft in it. So it's going to kind of be full circle that in 2024 at the Sphere, the NHL Draft will be held here in Las Vegas. And I will say when it comes to that situation, that's going to be great. Now, obviously, there is no star-studded prospect. There is no Connor Bedard-ish that you have in the 2024 NHL Draft. But hey, you never know who the next superstar is going to be in the NHL. I mean, they could be the first overall pick. They could be an Ovi. They could be a Crosby. It could be something like that. Or it could be somebody later in the draft, a hidden gem that you find later on. So, yeah, so June 28th, June 29th, the NHL Draft 2024 held in Las Vegas. It will be at the Sphere, and it's going to be an incredible, fantastic event. There's going to be a lot of amazing content we're going to try to get coverage of for said event here on Vegas Hockey Hub. And in this game, Logan Thompson once again in net. Now, considering what he has done the last 2 games, now he did lose the previous matchup, the St. Louis Blues. It was a 2-1 overtime loss. We saw what happened a few days ago. But for Logan Thompson, he has done relatively well the past few games. And I have to give a lot of props to Logan Thompson for what he is doing this year. I know some people are giving him flack. I know some casual fans are saying a lot of it is on him. But really, when you stop and analyze it and you actually break it down, a lot of the stuff that Logan Thompson is doing is because the defense is not keeping up. The defense is not making sure that they are protecting LT. There's some goalies who can only go so far. You have to have defensemen in front of them. So I will say on the defense, there's a lot of times that you could say a defense let up on it. Now, occasionally a goalie is going to make a mistake. The goalie made a wrong read. The goalie made a wrong situation, and it ended up biting him. But majority of the last couple of games, Logan Thompson has done a relatively good job for your Vegas Golden Knights. So, him being in net, him being there against St. Louis, there's definitely going to be some good situations there. So I will say for Logan Thompson, once again, being in net for your Vegas Golden Knights. And it's definitely going to be a good situation. We're going to see how he performed in this game against St. Louis after coming off a 2-1 overtime loss at T-Mobile Arena against St. Louis a couple of days ago. Now being in St. Louis and seeing how he will perform. So, Logan Thompson done pretty well. He's one of the best backup goalies in all of hockey. He has shown it last year. He's definitely shown it this year that he is reliable. He's consistent. And he's somebody that you can kind of trust when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights. Now, in this game, there was not much happening in the first couple of minutes. As a matter of fact, you actually only had a little bit of action in the first couple of minutes. A Torrey Krug holding penalty against Jack Eichel, and then a Nick Watt interference penalty against Oscar Sundqvist. So I will say when it comes to the first beginning of this game, really not much was going on. I'll say, there was some aggression. There was some good back and forth between St. Louis and Vegas. But overall, when it comes to this game and really what it represented, it's just you had 2 teams that had kind of an opposite effect of what happened in between, the beginning of the game and the end of said game. So just to kind of explain that real quick, about halfway into the first period, Zach Whitecloud with his first goal of the season. This was definitely a good play for Zach Whitecloud, assisted by Nick Watt and Keegan Kolazar. Made it a 1-0 game for your Vegas Golden Knights. And I just really got to point out that when it comes to Vegas and really what they have accomplished this year, the fact that Zach Whitecloud, he had that injury to begin the year, and now him coming into the game, scoring the first goal of the game and putting Vegas up ahead by 1. And Zach Whitecloud definitely has become one of the best players for Vegas. I mean, defensive-wise, him, McNabb, Petrangelo really have been the notable guys you can talk about when it comes to your Vegas Golden Knights. Now, this would not hold on for much longer, as about a minute and a half later, Jake Neighbors would have a 10th goal of the season, assisted by Robert Thomas to make it a 1-1 game for St. Louis. And the tide would really start to shift for your Vegas Golden Knights, as not even 1 minute later, Kevin Hayes, the former Philadelphia Flyer, now St. Louis Blue with his 6th goal of the season, assisted by Jordan Kyrou and Torrey Krug to make it a 2-1 game. And you know what? St. Louis Blues definitely rode momentum in the beginning of this game. There's no doubt about it. And after a delay of game penalty on Zach Whitecloud, in between this goal and what happens next, it really seemed like St. Louis was just taking advantage and was really just going to keep riding and rolling and rolling. And after Zach Whitecloud would get out of the penalty box and no power play goal would be done for St. Louis, Jordan Kyrou with his 5th goal of the season. It would be 17 minutes into the first period, only a couple minutes left in that period. It'd be assisted by their captain and Braden Shen and Justin Folk. It would be a 3-2-1 game for St. Louis as they get to the end of period 1. And, really one aspect that I can point out is just this was a terrible start for Vegas. I mean, it just felt like the energy wasn't there. The defense wasn't getting to where it needed to be. The offense was lacking. I mean, this game was just a really bad 20 minutes for Vegas. There really wasn't many positives I can say outside of maybe a good amount of discipline. But even then, you had the penalties with Waugh and Whitecloud as well. So I'll say for your Golden Knights, the first 20 minutes was not great. Being at the casino, being at the sports book, watching this game live while eating some pizza, I will say that this was definitely the first period. Not a great start for Vegas, very underwhelming. Now, the second period is a completely different situation. So in the second period, Robert Thomas would have a hooking penalty against Ivan Barbashev. This is the second straight game in a row where Ivan Barbashev has had a penalty where he's taken one. Very smart play by Ivan Barbashev to kind of force that. And then a couple of minutes later, Robert Thomas gets out of the penalty box, and then he forces a penalty. Jonathan Marchessault is caught with a holding situation. So the Vegas Golden Knights, they would end up coming in and scoring their first goal since the Zach Whitecloud goal to begin the game, as Jack Eichel with his, 4th goal in a row now? I mean, 12th goal of the season. Jack Eichel has really done well the past couple of games, really has shown that leadership quality, why he has been one of the best players in the NHL for the last couple of years. So Jack Eichel, 12th goal of the season, assisted by the former St. Louis Blue, Ivan Barbashev, and then your captain, Mark Stone. And this goal was very impactful because this was a goal that put them down by one, kind of, widen, kind of lessen the gap for Vegas when it came to St. Louis. And I will say that with Jack Eichel, with Ivan Barbashev, I mean, there was some good back and forth, a good setup on that play. But yeah, so Jack Eichel with his 12th goal of the season, and it would make it a 1-goal game for St. Louis and Vegas. Now, 2 minutes later, on the power play after a Braden Shen tripping call, Jonathan Marchessault would take advantage and tie this game up in the second period, halfway in, as he would have his 12th goal of the season, assisted by Jack Eichel and William Karlsson. And I will say Jack Eichel, he has been everywhere. He has been the best player that Vegas has had this year. He's been the MVP, no doubt. I mean, the way that he is passing up the puck, the way he's setting up passes, this is a guy who definitely has been one of the best players for Vegas. So I will say when it comes to Jonathan Marchessault, good goal by him, but I have to give credit to Jack Eichel. He has done a really good job this year, and on this goal, he did a very exceptional job. And funny enough, not even 1 minute later, your Vegas Golden Knights would take the lead as Keegan Kolesar would score his 2nd goal of the season, assisted by his defensive pairing in Brayden McNabb and Caden Korczak to put Vegas up 4-3. And even before a lot of people could actually sit down and relax, there was a too many men penalty for St. Louis, and they would just fight off this situation, but not until they would have a power play goal for Vegas. As the Vegas Golden Knights, Michael Amadio would score his 5th goal of the season on the power play. This would be power play goal number 2 on the night for your Vegas Golden Knights, assisted by Chandler Stevenson and Ivan Barbashev, as Vegas would now be up by 2. And, this was just really a nice turnaround for the Vegas Golden Knights. You went from struggling in the first period, not being able to do much. Then the second period, you just get explosive. You have lightning in your hands, and then you score 5 goals in one period. I mean, Jordan Bennington was prime Bennington the previous game. Well, in this game, Jordan Bennington looked like who he's been the last couple of years. So I will say, when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights and San Jose and the St. Louis Blues, I mean, Jordan Bennington just did not look like the normal Jordan Bennington that they saw back in 2018, 2019. Thankfully for your Vegas Golden Knights, as they scored 5 goals in one period. Now, to start the third period, there was some penalties taken by St. Louis. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights, actually, I have to give credit here, they did not take any penalties in the final 35 minutes of the game. So in the 20 minutes of the last period, in the last 10 minutes of period 2, the Vegas Golden Knights had a lot of discipline, and they did not take unnecessary penalties. St. Louis absolutely did, as in the third period, Brandon Saad would have a hooking penalty on Chandler Stevenson. Alexei Torchenko would have a slashing penalty against Jack Eichel, and then you would have a slashing penalty on Chandler Stevenson as Oscar Sundqvist would slash him and go to the box. So Chandler Stevenson, once again, I have to give props on the discipline part, forcing a penalty and having not just a hooking on Brandon Saad, but a slash on Oscar Sundqvist. And the Vegas Golden Knights would capitalize at the end of the day, as with less than 1 minute left in the game, Wild Bill William Karlsson with a dozen goals as well. Marchessault got to a dozen, Eichel got to a dozen, and finally Karlsson got to a dozen, as the St. Louis Blues would pull the goalie, and William Karlsson would score on an empty net, assisted by Nick Hague. So it would be a 6-3 game for your Vegas Golden Knights, and the Golden Knights would pick up a win once again. And this is definitely some good momentum for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, player of the game has to go to Jack Eichel because of what he did in this game, not just because of him scoring another goal in this game, having it be go back down to 1, but the way he set up Marchessault and the way he really established that kind of situation to tie up the game was a good play by Jack Eichel. And I've been saying this once, and I'll say it again. Jack Eichel has done a fantastic job of going in and really figuring out that, he is the best player on the Golden Knights roster. When you think about it in terms of skill-wise, in terms of talent, Jack Eichel is a top 10 player in the league. And you can tell that when he's on the ice, he makes his teammates better. His teammates are, kind of benefiting from the Jack Eichel situation. And I will say player of the game, Jack Eichel, for what he did tonight. Now, this was definitely a great recovery from Vegas. And this was a situation where your Vegas Golden Knights really took advantage, really made sure that they were going to be on top of this situation and overcoming a 3-1 deficit, and then coming back, scoring 5 goals, around with it, scoring the 5 goals. I mean, this is a Golden Knight situation where I look at them and I say, you know what? You scored 4 goals in the same period. You have 5 goals at the period 2. I look at Vegas and say, you know what? If you can carry this momentum, hear my point. If you can carry this momentum into Dallas, because Dallas is going to be this weekend, if you can carry this forward and go to the American Airlines Arena, go into Dallas and beat them just like you kind of did against St. Louis, that will be great for Vegas. Now, as we are getting to about the 10-minute mark, I do want to go over the team stats very quickly. in this St. Louis and Vegas game. Your Vegas Golden Knights outshot St. Louis as they outshot them 49 to 29, which, by the way, is definitely a huge deal. I mean, the fact that the Vegas Golden Knights had 49 shots on net against Jordan Binnington, I mean, they took that offense they really should have had in the game before, and they doubled it and intensified it in this game. So your Vegas Golden Knights, 49 shots on net against St. Louis, whereas St. Louis had only 29 shots on net. The Vegas Golden Knights had 10 hits as opposed to St. Louis's 17, but the massive, huge difference was penalty minutes. St. Louis had 16 penalty minutes as opposed to Vegas's 6. That really shows the discipline Vegas had. I mean, Vegas was able to take penalties from St. Louis all night long. And Vegas, outside of what happened in the first period with Waugh and with Waugh and White Cloud delay of game penalty, you really did not see a lot of sloppy play from Vegas. So I will say for your Vegas Golden Knights, the penalties definitely benefited them. The face-offs, St. Louis 52%, Vegas 48%, kind of around even, to be honest. But the team stats that I really want to talk about, the Vegas Golden Knights went 2 for 8 on the power play, and they were 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. So Vegas did a stand-up job on the penalty kill. They did what they needed to do, and I will definitely give props where it needs to be, because the Vegas Golden Knights went in, pretty much stopped every single penalty, any single penalty kill in this game, and even scored 2 power play goals of their own because of Jonathan Marchessault and Michael Amadio in the second period. You also had 20 blocked shots as opposed to 17 for St. Louis, so Vegas outblocked St. Louis. And then you had 8 takeaways for St. Louis as opposed to 6 for Vegas. And I'll say when it comes to that situation, yeah, St. Louis had more takeaways, but they also had more giveaways as well. So it was 12 for St. Louis on the amount of giveaways versus Vegas that had half of that, as they only had 6 giveaways. And as we're getting towards the end of this recap show, I want to very quickly go to your Henderson Silver Knights, as they did play the Ontario region in tonight's performance. So as Vegas was in St. Louis, Henderson was in Ontario. And, this game had a very different situation, but we'll talk about that right now, as the Henderson Silver Knights and Ontario Reign. I'm going to apologize for that right now. But the Ontario Reign, Henderson Silver Knights were taking on them. And on the road, they would actually lose this game. So unlike your Vegas Golden Knights, who beat St. Louis, the Ontario Reign beat Henderson 3-1. And I will say when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, Vegas Golden Knights picked up the win, going up against St. Louis, did what they had to do. But unfortunately, the Henderson Silver Knights did not take care of business, as Charles Hudon and Akil Thomas actually had goals in this game for Ontario, as Jacob Bobrynek had the only goal in the game for Henderson. They lost 3-1. Now, in a couple of days, the Henderson Silver Knights are going to go to San Jose and take on the San Jose Barracudas, and that will be December 8th and December 9th. So keep that in mind, as the Vegas Golden Knights are going to be in Dallas at the American Airlines Arena around that same time. Henderson will be in San Jose at the SAP Center, taking on the San Jose Barracudas. So this was your Vegas Hockey Hub recap show, going over the St. Louis Blues game. Your Vegas Golden Knights beating them 6-3 in a really good matchup here. So I will say that this is your host, Ian Rachiele. This is Vegas Hockey Hub. And until next time, continue watching hockey, go support junior hockey, and go Knights, go.